Your
No
thing.
problem. Cool.
Here we go.
Okay,
All right,
we're
and
good
then
to go.
Is it possible to share my screen? I'm getting a message that host has disabled participant screen sharing.
Well, good thing we're recording.
Okay.
Should be a way to promote you. Oh, we did, but
Huh, I do not see the option.
oh, we're gonna make co-host.
Okay, well, you're doing that. I'll go ahead and introduce and kind of get people oriented.
Did that work, Teresa?
Yep, so I'm unmuting, starting video. Let's try share screen. It says host has disabled participant screen sharing.
Let me see here. See if you can give you co-host.
Okay, cool.
Oh, there we go. So now it should work.
All right, cool. Let's try it out. Oh, there we go. Perfect.
Okay, good. Hello, everybody. If you don't know me, I'm Paul Elsholt. This is a great time to check the audio and video. If I could have some feedback in the chat, if you can hear me and you can see me okay, that would be awesome. Okay, I'm looking at the chat and I'm not seeing anything. Okay. Okay, great. I got a thumbs up. Okay. If you're not aware, this is going to be recorded. Say one of your coworkers is there and they're not able to attend, we're going to have a recording of this. I want to take advantage of the moment to talk a little bit about background, do a little housekeeping. Just so everybody knows, the company that does the software that makes all our mapping software is called ESRI. They are changing how they do business. They're upgrading from what's called ArcGIS Desktop to Arc Pro. So we, in turn, are also going to need to change how we do business. The city of Laconia anticipates changing over to Arc Pro in about November of this year. Some of you will not be affected at all, but some of you will have to change over from, say, using ArcMap to Arc Pro, or others will go from ArcMap to ArcGIS Online. But the reason I bring that up is the licensing has changed. Now, our vendor, CAI Technologies, has also has to change the way they're doing business. So, and if in case you don't know, CAI does things like maintain our tax maps. They also maintain some of our data layers, and in some ways, they're kind of storing our data almost like a little data warehouse. They're a great resource. And they've also given us some guidance on how to use ArcGIS Online. But how this came about is that CAI reached out to me and suggested that I reach out to you. I took your feedback and said, hey, we would like an introduction on the new user interface for the tax maps. And this is what we're doing. And that's what brings us here today. So hopefully this will be productive for you. Now, the way I thought this meeting should run is that we have enough people that I would mute everybody, at least for the duration of the presentation. You can put questions into chat if you would like, and then at the end, I'll unmute everybody and we can have a little bit more of a discussion. So on that note, I would like to introduce Therese Smith of CAI Technologies.
Hi, everyone. I'm Therese. Thank you for the introduction, Paul. I am a GIS analyst at CAI Technologies, and we do a bit of everything. So I do some tax map maintenance and also provide Access GIS support. So the goal for today's meeting is to really show the new interface for the latest version of Access GIS, which we're calling Access Next. The goal is, as Paul mentioned, we have to update our software, and also we're hoping to make the website a little faster. So I'm just going to go over the new interface, provide a demonstration for how Butters works, and then how to run an Butters report, and then also go over the staff side. So hopefully that works for everyone. And then, as Paul mentioned, we can save questions towards the end. So let's get started. So looking at my screen, we're at Laconia's Access GIS website. And again, this website really is just joining the assessment data from Vision to the GIS tax map parcels. So when you load, you get the overview of the screen. And then just starting in the upper left corner, we have our search bar. So there are three main ways to search. You can search by the Vision property ID. You can search by owner name and then the property address. You just need 3 characters to begin your search. So let's test it out. We can try Main Street. And then you can either hit the enter button or this filter button to return the search results, because as you're typing, it returns some records, but you won't see all of them, as you can see. So once you have your search results, you'll see these green push pins. And then from your search list, let's make it a little smaller. Not a lot of choices, all right. So you can either click in this icon to zoom to parcel. If you want a quick view of the documents linked, we link building photos and then a link to the Vision online property record card. And then say if you wanted to search Dennis Avenue, when you are searching the street, we recommend just starting with the main name because there may be differences in abbreviation. So we'll hit enter. And then if you want to further refine your search results, you can always hit this plus or minus button to add or remove from the map. So you could add these parcels as well. Alternatively, you'll see that you can hit this X button on the individual search results. And then from this list, you can always zoom to. So we've got a big selection. This is a good idea to probably further refine it. So maybe if we wanted Dennis Avenue, we'd start typing in Ave. And there we go. We zoom to results. And then once the list is where you want it to be, of course, you can also sort by address, owner, and property ID. And then you can always export these results as an Excel file, PDF, or mailing labels. And when you're done searching, you can simply hit the trash icon to clear it. Additionally, you can also hit this button and draw on the map to select. So if you just want to grab these and just generate a quick PDF, you can do that. All right. So that covers searching. Next, we can go over the layers tab. So you can expand the pane if you need more room. So we have these layer groups. So the public map has the tax map data along with some other data layers. And to turn the layers on and off, you can simply, you see these little circles, check them on to turn them on, check them off to turn them off. And then this button at the top here, you can make them more transparent or completely opaque, just depending on what you want to see. Additionally, you can just collapse all those layers or expand them all if you want to see what's what. I'm going to collapse that. And then just as a tip for parcel lines, since we do tax map maintenance for Laconia, you'll see this year to the right of parcel lines, and that just indicates that the tax map changes are current to April 1st, 2023. I know we're actively working on the 2024 rev. And then if you hover your cursor over this eye icon, you're gonna see when the property information was updated. And that means that's when the data processor was ran. And when we run the data processor, that's the assessment data. So everything you see on Access GIS, like the owner name, values, acreage, that's all coming from Vision. And so now we know that an update was ran today. And then additionally, one thing that may look different compared to Access Classic or previous is that now we have, instead of just being more layers here, they're more, well, they are still layer groups, but these are now being pulled from NH Granite as REST services. And the big benefit of that is that they'll always be up to date because we're just pulling it directly from NH Granite. And again, you can just check them on, maybe we'll look at the wetlands map. And again, likewise, you can also drag. And the nice thing is you can drag it as well. So you can change the display order. And just like the public map, they all have these transparency sliders. All right. So let me turn that off. So it's gone over the search bar and the layers tab. Then we can expand over into the additional, well, let's look into the little navigation tools. They're pretty straightforward. That's worth briefly going over. So zoom in, zoom out should be very intuitive. And then this is an important tool, the identify tool. You just click and you can get your parcel information. So this has pulled up the parcel details window. So if it had a building photo, it would show up. Maybe this one does. I might need to get into a busier area of town. Yeah, we care. Okay, so you can use your identify button and identify parcel. And then you at the top, you can zoom to it. We're already pretty zoomed to it from using the identify tool. You'll get into your butters tab, which we'll go over in a moment. And then additionally, you'll have your street view, and we pull in from Google Street View along with Bing, depending on if it's available. That can be handy. And then you can always make this bigger as well. Just collapse that. And then this is the primary building photo. If you want it bigger, you can left click it. If you want to make it bigger, I recommend opening the image in a new tab. And then we've got our links for the Vision Online property records, along with any like secondary building photos. And then at the bottom here, we have our two tabs. Again, this is being pulled from Vision. So we've got our assessment data, and then along with some building data. All right. And then if you have, if you allowed Access GIS to zoom to your location, you can click that. I'm in Concord, so here, well, I don't think that's quite right. But we'll go back. And that can be handy if you're out in the field. And then full extent just brings you to the full extent of Laconia. And then you can always hit these previous extent tabs to navigate where you previously were. And then say if you were making that map up, or like if you just wanted to share something with another person in the office or outside the office, you just hit this quick share button and it will remember your zoom extent, say what layers you had turned on. And then you just hit quick share. You've got that link, you copy it, and then you can just send that to someone. And then that'll take them right to the same extent with the layers turned on. That can be pretty handy. And it's loading. Take a moment or two. All right, and then just at the top, we have our additional tools pane. So for base map, right now our default is the Esri Streets map. And then just so you know, in the layers tab, you'll find that at the bottom here. And like the other ones, you can check them on, check them off. And that way you're just looking at the tax map data now. And you can always, like with the transparency slider, make it more opaque or more transparent. And so our base map is divided into 3 tabs. So the Esri imagery has its own tab. And again, if you hover over the eye icon, you can see the date of the imagery. And you simply left click to load it. And then local tab, again, we've got more imagery from NH Granite. And also the 2016 Laconia town images, or city images, I should say. And then for others, you're probably familiar with this. We've got Google Satellite. And then you can always hit this toggle button to turn off all the imagery. I mean, all the base maps. And then if you just want to go back to your default, you can just, our default is streets. And again, Esri maintains this base map. We can submit, changes. Sometimes they miss the mark when it's New England, like a road's not correctly named, missing. All right, and so we can hit that caret at the top to collapse it. Next, we have areas of interest. So at the top here, we have street intersections. And that can be helpful if, for example, I'm just thinking about tax mapping. If you get a deed that says it starts like 200 feet from the intersection of this and that street, this can be really helpful. So you just select one street and select your cross street, and that'll bring you to the intersection. And then next we have bookmarks. And again, these are just common bookmarks that we found that most municipalities like. So you got City Hall, the library. If any of this needs to be changed, just let us know and we can change that really easily. All right, so next we have measure. So you're probably familiar with this. We can measure area, length, and location. So for area, you just click. You can choose your units. And then you can either turn segment labels on or off. So you definitely probably noticed this in Next that as you're measuring now, you get the distance and direction, or the length and direction. And if you don't like that label being there, you just toggle this part off and it'll be gone. And again, this is just going to be an approximation. So that'll give you your acreage. One thing to keep in mind is that this isn't going to print though, because that could cause some issues, if everyone was just printing that off. And then you can always hit the trash can to clear what you've measured so far. And same way with length. Choose your units. If you want segment labels, you can do that as well. There we go. And then for location, so you can choose either decimal degrees or degrees, minutes, seconds. And then you can see your cursor. You just kind of place that, and you'll have that as well. And then on a similar note, I'm going to collapse this menu and that menu. You also have your coordinates here as well as your cursor moves around, and you can always change which coordinate system you want. So that can be handy. So that was the measure tool. So next we have draw, which can be helpful. Say if a tree fell down, we can draw a line. And you can choose if you want arrow or not. If you want to edit that, you just click this little selection icon up here, select the feature, turn off the arrow, say we want to make it black, width, maybe make it wider. And then to accept your changes, you just hit the check mark. Excuse me. And then if you wanted to add some text, you can have some free text. Say, let's have a fallen tree. So type in what you want and then click where you want to label it. There you go. And then additionally, we have a label parcel. So again, this is looking at the assessment data from Vision, looking at the owner name, the property address, along with the CAMA ID or parcel ID. So you can just click and that'll get auto labeled for you. And then you can also edit these because this is kind of big. So we can size it down a bit. That might be too small. And do whatever you like. And then select that. If you want to delete it, you just select it. And this will clear all the graphics. If you want to delete one set of text, you just hit your edit button. And then you can hit the trash can to delete it. And then You can hit the share button. Let's copy that, and it should save your drawn features. There we go. So you can email that off to, whoever would need to address the fallen tree across the road. All right, and you've got lots of options for drawing. You can draw points, you can draw polygons, lines, circles, rectangles. You can take control of the snap. And then you'll see that lines, you can add an arrow in case you wanted to point to something, so. Oh, wrong, we can do that. And then hit edit. And then I can just move that. And you can also rotate it. Yeah, there's lots to play with here. And then if you're done with all your drawings, again, these are only temporary for when you're logged in. So if you were to refresh Access GIS, these would go away. You can hit the share button to keep them, but keep in mind the share button is only as good as long as we don't like republish the website. So again, it's not something long-term for long-term mapping. It's just like a temporary share. But just to circle back to clear all of your drawings, you just hit the clear all button at the top. It's going to ask you to confirm. You can always choose to have it not ask you again. You're going to say yes to confirm. And then next, we've got ArcGIS Online. So if you had an ArcGIS Online account and maintain data there, you could bring it into Access GIS by logging in and then adding the selected features. If you want to see features from ArcGIS Online on the staff side or the public site, we can certainly do that. You just have to let us know. And then for print, we've got a few options here. So you can just do a plain map. So that's just kind of where you're zoomed in. The rough idea of what the map is going to contain is this yellow rectangle. You can choose to print black and white. You'll hit the print map button. It's going to take some time to prepare. And then when it's done, a PDF will be generated for you. All right, and then you can just hit print. It's going to be a PDF. And there you go. And if you want to further refine your map, you just choose the layout. So let's say if we just wanted to get a map of this area, the scale is going to change based on how much you're zoomed in and out. So that's just something to keep in mind. Like if you want to get a better view of the rectangle, but you wanted to see the rectangle more, but keep your scale, just keep an eye on the desired print scale. You'll see the difference current map scale versus desired print scale. And then you can change your title. You can choose your orientation. And again, the rectangle will change with that as well, along with your paper size. And then you can also choose to check on a legend. And then if you're in the staff side, you can choose large format printing. We've got 24 by 36 and 36 by 48. All right, let's go to print. And then there you go. All right, and then if you have any questions, you can always reach out to us at extension 3. You can hit the feedback button. And then additionally, we do have these help guides. So we have a link for our documentation here. Oh, and then along with some video guides, which is really helpful. And then for contact information, that's more for like the public users. So that just creates a link for Laconia's website, along with Tara's contact information. Disclaimer, pretty basic, like this isn't meant to be used for legal conveyance. And then about, that's just CAI stuff. So then let's log into the staff site. All right, so the main things with the staff site is you have staff only layers. Currently, Laconia doesn't have any staff layers. If the city did, it would show up as another layer group here. And again, it would be restricted to authorized staff users. Additionally, once you're logged into the staff site, you can download any shapefile, any of the layers that, except for annotation, add shapefiles. And then a lot of towns get requests for parcel data. So it would be under lot numbers, parcel poly, and you just hit download to download the entire set of data. Alternatively, you can do a clip and download where you would draw a polygon and it would grab the features within that polygon. And then this will download joined to the assessment data, so that can be handy for outside vendors or other users. And then next, I mentioned we have large format printing. And so if we choose a layout map, you'll see like with the little padlock icon, we've got those large formats there. And then going back to the staff access, we have link error reports. So these are when a tax map parcel and an assessment record don't link up, and there could be various reasons for that. It's worth to investigate, but the main thing is that you can generate these reports on demand, and obviously certain offices may be more interested in that than others because this will affect, you won't be able to search for that parcel or run or have it return information about owners in an abutters report if it's not linked correctly. So Caminot and GIS, those are just vision records that aren't linking to a GIS tax map parcel. No, and our parcel's shapefile downloaded. So you can click to run it, may take a while. And again, we can take a look at it, and depending on the error, on the nature of the error, we can either fix it in as part of tax map maintenance or as Access GIS support. Because sometimes maybe we need to change a lot number, or we need to manually link a record to a parcel. Usually you see that with like unlanded features such as mobile homes. And then GIS non-CAMA, they're GIS tax map parcels that aren't linking to a CAMA record. And there could be various reasons for this. The best thing is just to reach out to us. Because for example, it could be that maybe this parcel needed to be merged, or it has the wrong lot number. Could be various things. And then docs not in server. Those could be like building photos that just aren't on the website yet. And it can take a while to run. But just going back to the Caminot and GIS non-CAMA link errors, they could be related to each other, and it can be time consuming to resolve, but we can always break it down a little bit at a time. I always recommend, if you notice, oh, something didn't link when you were searching, like just reach out to us and we can take a look. And so then next we have analytics, and that's really just showing how people are using the website. So for example, here, it's loading. All right, cover. Okay, so this is just showing that yes, people are using the website, and this is how they're getting there. Seems like a lot of people are using Google. A lot of people are going from the Laconia government website. A lot of search results. And then page views, unsurprising, most people look at it on a weekday. And then finally, most people are using desktop devices to view the website. Yeah, we got upload some building photos. And then just so you know, the parcel refresh tool, that's more of a CAI internal tool to refresh the tax map data after the completing a tax map update. So you won't see that. I just have additional privileges. So that covers the staff site, and we've gone over the basic views, the new user face for Access next. So now we can go more in depth with the abutters report, which is a very important function. So just going back, you can always search for a parcel. Let's try Main Street. All right. So that's one way. You can also use identify. I'm going to clear my search results and just click on that parcel. Are we still in draw? Okay. Add this. Identify. Okay, so you can either search and zoom to a search result or use your identify button to select a feature. It's no longer restricted to parcels, but then you'll hit your abutters tab here. And then you've got some options. You can do feet or meters. Additionally, you can do negative, in case you want to see how far back things were. But select your buffer distance. So you've got your subject parcel in green here. You've got your buffer as a red outline, and then all of your butters filled in with red. And if you wanted to do additional features, again, we're using our add or remove button. So if we wanted to run the butters off these 3 parcels, and then you'll see the buffer distance adjust accordingly. And then likewise with the budding parcels, if you're like, oh, I wanted to add this and this one and this one, but not this one, you can do that as well. So I'm going to clear my selection here. And then you can also run in abutters off a drawn feature. And again, it just works the same way. You're going to use your identify button and then click on it. And then when there's overlapping features, because Access GIS is going to show you the parcel information first, you just hit this next button here, and then you'll see that it's a drawn graphic, and that's what we're looking for. And then once it's selected, we'll hit our abutters, and then there you go. And then you can also run this off. Let me clean this up a bit. You can run this off other features. So let's turn on our wetlands. Smaller one. No, this is this. So again, we're just using our identify tool. It was working for me when I tested it out earlier today. Website. Let's turn on wetlands. Zoom in on a smaller one. I've got my identify tool. And then we'll hit our next button, and we've got our wetlands. Then you can run in abutters off that. And again, you can always add another wetland to your selection, because your subject features have to be the same type of feature. So I can't click a parcel. It has to still be from that wetlands layer. And then once you have your abutter set up the way you want, say, oh, I want to add this one, but not this one, you can then download it as an Excel file, PDF, create mailing labels, whatever you like, really. And then it won't say anything in the subject property because it's not a parcel. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm happy to go over any questions.
Okay, so so if you have questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I'll go ahead and unmute everybody. I have a couple questions for you, Teresa, but let me see if I can't unmute everybody first. Let's try that again. Huh. So, Artie, I'm sure there's a way to unmute everybody in one clean shot, but I'm not seeing how to do that. Artie, are you with me?
I'm here.
Okay,
I think you have to do one by one because of the way it's
Okay.
set up.
so if you'd like to talk, go ahead and talk. Let me ask you a couple questions. If you're trying to talk and you're having trouble, go ahead and put a note in the chat and we'll make sure you can ask your question. So I have a couple questions. Sometimes I haven't used the abutters report very much, but
Okay.
I have gone to export to a mailing list.
Mhm.
And sometimes I have trouble lining up the labels with the text. Is
Oh.
there a way to adjust that? Are there certain, like I've tried to do certain labels and yet, even though the top might line up, by the time I get down to the bottom, the top of the label is on one label and the bottom text is on a second label.
Yes,
Is
that's
there
very
any
helpful.
tricks or anything to
Mhm.
fix that?
Yep, so we definitely recommend, like, when you're printing it, make sure there's no scaling or zoom to fit going on.
Okay, so scaling is what to look for?
Yep, that's a good go-to. And then whenever it happens, you can always reach out to us when we take a closer look, but usually it's like a printer issue.
Okay. Um,
And you're using the Avery 5160 label paper, correct?
I know it's Avery. I think it might be a very similar version, but I tried to match it up. I kind of
Okay,
forget
good.
now. It's been a while since I've done this.
Yeah, so no scaling, and if it's a printer option, uncheck auto rotate and center again, which kind of gets to the same effect of where it's trying to zoom to fit.
Okay.
Mhm.
Um, oh, and another thing you were talking before, and when you're in the map, if you have a tablet and you go to it over on the upper right, the symbol with the little, it's like a circle with two little broken lines in it, you can center on where you are.
Okay, zoom to location?
Yeah. So I'm just wondering, that's how you would use it with like a tablet if you're out in the field?
That's correct. Mhm.
Okay, I
You
was
just want to
just
make sure
thinking,
you gave it the correct permission. And again, it'll depend on how good the accuracy is. So right now, it's not the most accurate for me, but it's in the ballpark.
okay. I just thought that might be a useful tool.
Oh, for sure, yeah, especially when you're in the field.
And I thought I'd ask about one other thing.
Sure.
Um, some folks in the planning department had asked me about setbacks, and I wasn't sure
Oh,
how
sure.
to deal with that. If you choose a parcel and
Mhm.
put a negative, I guess, a negative buffer on it, would that be a useful tool for looking at setbacks?
Yeah,
Can
that's
you
what we
just
recommend. Yep.
can you just show that real quick?
Sure, absolutely. I'm just gonna take it from the top. So let's select a parcel. And then, I have my selection. I'm gonna click on my abutters tab. And then under buffer options, you can set the distance. So we recommend a negative distance if you want to explore setbacks.
Okay, nice. Okay, are there any other questions out there? Okay, quiet group today.
Now it's an afternoon.
Yep. So what I thought I'd do is I'm going to send out some links to everybody to make sure Therese shared some information with me maybe a week or two ago on the tax maps, and I'll share some of those documents with you. Also, I just want to see something here. Yeah, it looks like everybody. Okay, since I'm still not seeing anything on the chat or getting any questions, I will also just mention that I have a little sort of a survey just to see how we did. You know, how was the presentation? Was it useful? Was the audio and video clear? And I'll also include that in my email to everybody rather. So unless there are questions or anything else, I'm going to suggest we wrap things up. I still don't see anything, so I just want to say thank you, Therese,
Well, thank you for having me.
for presenting. Artie, thank you for making sure all the Zoom stuff works. And thanks for showing up, everybody. And you can always email me if you have more questions, everybody. And with that, let's call it a day.
All right,
Or
sounds
maybe
good.
not
Thank
yet. Let's call it good. You still got a couple hours to work yet.
you.
Okay,
Thank you. Have a
take
good
care,
rest
everybody.
of your day.
Thank you all.
Bye.
Thanks again, Therese.
Yeah, you're welcome. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Mm.